pattern will help you and your family find the frequency of gratitude and patient love that will assist you in awakening your soul's design. We now welcome you to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole.
Hello, all you amazing people. Thank you for joining us today for another amazing show of Return to Consciousness, live with Nicole and April. We are going to talk about waking up and really being present in the moment. And we also want to talk about energies that are going through Earth right now. They're going through individuals and really like diving in there of, it's almost chaotic. I don't always love that word, but when you're looking at like a peaceful harmonious universe that we swim through every day, and then we're looking at the energies that are going through right now, and it is very, very chaotic. And so to kind of map out the show a little bit today is we'll kind of go over steps, maybe some things that we do to work through our own energy. We also will be taking callers the second half, and so that you can call in at 435-879-4100. That's 435-879-4100. And you can reach me always at energyhealingbydesign.com, and I'm Nicole Ashton, and you can get a hold of April Betty on handshealinghearts.com. So we're really excited. I want to first say just thank you for everybody showing up and listening. We've had really good responses on the emails and things like that on Spotify and Podbean and internationally and on YouTube. I don't check YouTube actually, but I mean Facebook. So we want to give gratitude for growing with us because this is spirit guided and sometimes we have no idea what we're doing, but we show up. So to talk about waking up in a conscious state, meaning, so our biggest desires for my clients right now and people I talk to is surviving the shift, really, surviving right now. And my intent or my vision is, how do we live in harmony instead of the survival? Because you're either in survival or growth. So to like grab onto this opportunity of these major shifts and grow with it. What can we do to wake up, to be on point, to be on purpose, even if we don't know what that is, but be present in the moment? It's like, what can we do? And the second half, when we take callers, we'd love to hear from you and have your observations too, because everybody that's coming to me anyways is looking for that balance and the shift. And we're all so different that I can say how I do it and I can give you key points. But as far as individually, everybody's going through it. So when you share your story, other people relate to that and then they make it their own. So for me, the shifts that I'm feeling is really ups and downs, like rapid up and downs. And it's affecting like the moods, my physical, all that stuckness. And it's almost like when I've been offering myself a choice. I'm like, Nicole, it's your choice to stay stuck in this right now. This mood that you're in, do you choose to stay in it at this time? And I almost want to fight myself sometimes and owning the right to be grumpy. You know, like I woke up this way, someone did this to me, and I just, this is just how it's going to be all day. And through some stuff that's happened recently, I sat with that and I'm like, that's not fun. It's not fun to think because something happened, you have to hold the energy for that long. And I, doing a review of before, I'm like, you know what, that isn't an old pattern. So it has to be going through what's going, or be a piece of what the energy is doing now through Earth. And I'm like, that's collective. And the show is about us collectively coming together in unity and awakening the consciousness. So I was like, that is what I wanted to share today is the things people are going through is happening to other people on different levels, and how we bring it together for a solution. So how has your week been? Have you been experiencing these interesting shifts?
Yes, I've been experiencing them, and I noticed other people too. I've heard people say like they've had anger outbursts, and I've actually seen people have a few anger outbursts for no reason. So for me, probably mostly today, I noticed I got extremely tired. I went out and I was helping my daughter build her house for a couple hours, and that's fine. That shouldn't make me so tired, but I was so tired, abnormally tired, and I couldn't get out of the house after. I don't know, but yeah, something. And then we were talking and you were just telling me about, things are shifting. And it's nice to hear other people's experiences because then it helps make sense of some things that we don't fully understand.
Yeah, and for me, when you're sitting there in the inner energies, the energies, and you go within, that meditation is so important. That stillness is so important. And when I share that with people, they are like, I can't meditate. My brain doesn't allow it, and so on. But you can drive and meditate. You do it all the time. People do it all the time. They don't understand that stillness, that pause in your brain to let it just kind of even out is a piece of meditation. So give yourself credit. Like, oh, I've trained myself to kind of check out. When you're walking, you can do walking meditation just by setting an intention to bring yourself into like this higher understanding. And when I say higher, it doesn't mean better or worse. It means that the consciousness level that of your understanding that you've been allowed to learn, or that you've allowed yourself to learn, or that you practiced, it's just a higher knowing. Doesn't mean that we all are equal in everything we do, just different purposes, as it should be. So when I'm watching people go into these consciousness levels and want to meditate, I feel like they push themselves out because they think it looks a certain way, and it doesn't. It's being present, like what we were talking about today, in the moment, and just observing what's happening.
That's like sometimes if you've ever, like when you drive somewhere and then you get there and you're like, I don't even know how I got here. That could be meditation because you zone out. Mm-hmm. Or long drives are really good because it's a way of meditating, clearing your mind without you realizing you just spent a couple hours meditating or however long your drive was.
Right. And time is sped up so fast that I look at things like, wow, when you sit there in meditation sometimes and it seems like forever, and you've only been in there like 5 minutes, that's okay because you did something. Just give yourself, it's kind of giving yourself credit that things around you, energies around you, timing, everything is off somehow in reality. Everyone's reality is kind of different right now. Have you witnessed that too?
Yeah, it is. Everywhere I've gone this last few days or this last week, I go with the intention of meeting somebody there, doing something, and that does not happen. But like many things happen on the way to get there when I'm there. So I just trust that as long as I keep showing up and pursuing what I'm supposed to be doing, that it all works out. And it does. And it just somehow works out exactly how it's supposed to. And I'm okay with it. If I fought it and was like, oh, so-and-so didn't come, or oh, this didn't work out. If I fought it, that would be an ugly mess inside of me I'd be dealing with.
Right. And like the resistance to, like, this is what I'm facing, is like this resistance to what's happening. It's like, it is, but you're like resisting what's coming in, and it's like pushing back, because the understanding of the energies is not very easy right now for anybody. So by observing, returning to consciousness, going within and really opening up that soulful self, and having a greater understanding that others are going through their own shifts. And it seems like it just opens up pathways for people to connect, communicate, and really be on purpose. And that is why it's very important in the morning to wake up and make a conscious decision to be present throughout the day. And maybe even put times, like say, hey, if I'm feeling off, I'm going to check myself. Or say at lunchtime, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to observe my day for a minute. That will actually set your course on a higher purpose. That will set your course of being present. And that is really when your body heals. That's when your mind clears. And that's when you can manifest stuff, is in those stillness. But it's allowing yourself to be in those those moments.
It is. And for me throughout the day, sometimes I just keep grounding myself. Like I visualize the roots coming out of my feet and then shooting back up through my body. So I'm grounded. And then like the light through my heart to the skies. And then it feels like it pulls me when I do this thing in my head, it pulls me into me. So I'm in the present moment. And I know I'm living on purpose when I'm just showing up and I'm going and doing, but with the purpose. Like I meet people that I don't know and have conversations with people I don't know. And those moments I really actually like. And they're not planned, obviously.
Yeah, those are the best ones, right?
Yeah.
And it also gets us a place to sleep sometimes, because I'm going to have April share that with intuition. I know you've already shared that, but if you wouldn't have gone through your intuition in our present moment being in Haiti, we would have not had a place to sleep the first night we were there. So by you saying that that's part of your space or one of your things you do is to go meet people, what advice would you have to somebody that doesn't feel comfortable doing that? A lot of people would not use their intuition to sit next to a person and talk to them because they would be uncomfortable. So what would you suggest?
Well, you just have to let go of what you care, what they're going to think about you. And I don't go up there approaching them in a weird way. It's just when you have that feeling inside, you're like, oh, I should go talk to them, or oh, I should go ask them. I bet they know this question. So it's like when you have that feeling, probably because I ignored that feeling so many times that I realized do myself a service and get over there and just, allow what's going to come through and say it to the person. Sometimes it's just like telling people, I don't know, I just get feelings sometimes like I need to go tell her she's doing really good at what she's doing, or, just things. And so when I let that kind of stuff flow, it's a better space to be than not acting upon those, feelings you have. But the guy at the airport, I just had a feeling. I was like, he's going to know. I bet he's from Haiti. So he's going to know how far this airport is from the airport we're supposed to be at. So I'm just going to go ask him. And then I was like, why are you going to go bother him, in my head? And then I was like, no, I just knew I had to. So I went and sat by him. I'm like, hey, do you know? And just started. And that's how he was like, I explained the situation. And he's like, well, I have a house you guys could stay at. So that was cool. My intentions weren't to go stay at his house. I really just wanted to know, how far off am I? Am I making a bad choice or a good choice?
Yeah. So intuition, and imagine being in a whole nother country and really being present with who you're speaking with, and going with that gut feeling. So I'm going just to kind of wrap up, or kind of put in a bundle of what just happened, is when we went to Haiti, we didn't have a place to stay because we went to a different airport, and April used her intuition, which was being present in the moment, which we're talking about right now, is what would that feel like, and what would that look like? And man, how would life show up for you if you were to listen to your inner guidance, which is that feeling that you're sharing that created you to talk to a gentleman that allowed us to stay at his house. Otherwise, we would have been in the streets or driving at night, which was dangerous. And your response was that you noticed that because you didn't do it before and probably didn't have a positive outcome. So invite the listeners to really think about that. Think about the times that you're like, I wish I would have listened to that. Not what I didn't necessarily do, but turn it into like if I would have went with my gut feeling, this positive thing would have happened. Because it seems like people focus a lot on what doesn't work, what's not working for them. So I'm inviting you to shift that a little bit and say, hey, when I listened to my intuition, if I would have listened to my intuition, what would that situation have looked like? See, that's a positive, instead of saying, oh, that went really crappy and it turned out this way and this way and this way. No, well, you can if you want to, but I'm inviting you to say, wow, what if I would have went with that feeling? Sometimes it feels like you're going to throw up. Sometimes it's burning in your heart. Sometimes it's a feeling. We all have it differently. So you get to know your body. But what if you would have went with that intuition, asked questions, talk to somebody that you didn't know if you dared because you were worried about what they thought? What if those times would have turned out amazing?
Because most of the times those people have the answers that you need sometimes too. And the intention wasn't, to get something from him. However, I think too sometimes, well, all the time in my opinion, what we give out, we get back. And I would have done the same for somebody in that situation. So I think the more we put out, the more we're going to get back to. Like, I didn't have any hidden agenda talking to him. I genuinely just want to know how far that airport was, which was funny. Thank goodness he said 6 hours.
Yes.
It was like 17.
Yeah, it was a beautiful expansion trip. We were able to just see so many different aspects of unity because we came together as a team very, very well. So the stretch for most people that I have noticed is that they don't ask for help. And I think that's a learned belief maybe. I died, I came back, and if I wouldn't have kept asking questions, I would never have walked again. So I don't understand that not daring, maybe is that the word, like people not daring ask, because your higher self is speaking. There's an energetic pull towards people, and it does sometimes feel weird, I guess you could say, and you're like, ooh, I have this stomach ache or something, and so you take it as a negative, but it's just because that's the way you're looking at it. But when you're in those spaces and you're asking your consciousness, you're asking that part of you're going to get that if you listen, and that's the biggest part of asking and assisting without an expectation. I found out that it's really a whole different energy that you get. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like that. I really like that. That resonates with me.
Yeah. So when you're diving in and showing up, what is your expectation, or do you have one? To me, you shouldn't.
I don't have expectations because expectations will just give you disappointments. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to do something, this is a good one. I was thinking of this earlier. If you're going to do something like genuinely, like you want to give somebody something or you want to do something big for them, if you're doing it with the right heart, you're doing it for the right reason. If you're doing it to get something in return, like a hidden agenda, you're doing it for the wrong reasons and it will not go in your favor. So when your heart and your intentions align, it helps you be more you, and you're comfortable just like saying things to people or just being yourself. I just think of the word authentic. Yeah. Just be authentic. Some people do things with hidden agendas and they do it because they want something in return. And it's better to say, hey, Nicole, I'm going to let you stay at my house, but I expect this or I want that instead of and then it brings us to communication. You have to communicate that. But you know what I'm trying to say? I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. And so why we're sharing information, and maybe if you think we're talking in circles, then that's okay, because there's bits and pieces that you will get. But unless you have conversation about uncomfortable moments, what does this look like? How can we shift that energy from uncomfortable to comfortable? Unless you have those conversations, it will never shift anyway.
True.
So when you're talking about feelings or expectations, some people don't even realize they have an expectation on the outcome.
True.
And they themselves, until you talk to them about it, don't recognize either. Like, oh, I did have an expectation. And that's why I'm let down. We all have, and we all have gone through that process. So conversations like this are very important because you and I come from different views. You're very earthly and connected at the same time, and have a perspective here and experience here on earth that I don't. And so I bring when I bring in an idea, it's kind of big for most people and they don't understand it. So my disharmonies or my confusion sometimes, if I didn't talk about it, then I would have no idea how to be here, how to share, how to do this world. And so there's two drastic differences. But when people are in a household, they're conscious, being present with each other every day, they don't realize the communication breakdown that they're having. So you and I know because we know where I'm at, we know where you're at. But couples, they feel like they're in the same place. And people or family members, they feel like that they can read each other's minds, but you can't. You still have you still have a different perception. So waking up and making a conscious effort to realize man and woman are completely different. They're from everything inside of them to outside of them. You get to be present with them and observe. That's consciousness right there. That will shift your day. That will shift the way that you look at people. And I know that this is way out there for some people, but that's okay, because if we didn't put seeds in the air, these energy seeds are still kept quiet or still only talked about in some groups, and hoping that the collective consciousness will get it. We're not going to go anywhere. So you and I are kind of just saying, hey, we're going to jump out there and talk about stuff that you have no idea sometimes, but take what you can, take what resonates, smile at some stuff, laugh at some stuff, but have fun with this. Like that's what this is about. So I from the day I started this, I jumped into this saying, I don't know how I was going to do this, because I'm running the board and I have to do all this fun stuff and deliver a message, but I was guided to, so I jumped into doing it. I invite you guys to do the same thing. Jump into that moment that you know you're guided to, and it feels good, but you're scared to death. Do it, and the outcome is going to be amazing. And you know what? You may fail. You may. I forgot to push some buttons one day, and the whole show wasn't even on. But I showed up. And I still did it. And then you'll when you open that positive flow of being present and really showing up on purpose and seeing how you're showing up. And again, when you observe how you're showing up, that also is going to show you what you get to work on, and then you start viewing people in a different way. So that was like a lot in one sentence, but that's okay, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
Give you a lot at once and let you break it down yourself, I guess.
I like it. I like the planting the seeds, because that's how we all waken up. Somebody plants a seed, and usually it's like, wow, that girl's crazy, or something. Like there's, I don't know, when someone says, I can't put it in words right now. Hang on a second. When someone's like, oh, that's like weird stuff, then I'm like, oh, I know that's my stuff, because people think I'm weird. What kind of weird stuff is that? But if someone didn't plant seeds in me where I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, like years and years ago, but now that weirdness is my stuff, because it's not really weird. However, like when we're introduced to certain things, it's like planting little seeds. So we're all at different levels, on our path. And communication is huge, because I could say one sentence to you and you could say one sentence to me. And I like to, if I'm not sure what you're thinking, then I would say, am I hearing you say? And then I'd say whatever I think you're saying. And then you could say, no, that's not what I meant. Because since I communicate with people in other countries, I've realized not only is there a language barrier, but a lot of times it's just, even when there isn't one and we totally understand, they're meaning something else. So sometimes when people say stuff to us, we may internalize it, and they don't even mean what we're turning it all into. So internalizing something's like too long, or making it something is not, could also leave us in a place we don't want to be internally too. So you got to loosen up, let it go, and let it flow.
Yeah, live in joy. That joy is unconditional love in motion. And I absolutely am in so much gratitude for everybody that listens. Call in, write in, be a part of the show as it grows. Again, I'm very excited. A lot of our international people can't call because they are in a different time zone, but that's okay, because we get the messages back. And you know what? We're just beginning, so write in what would work for you. And this is Return to Consciousness live with Nicole and April, and we will be right back.
Next on Footlight Parade, songs about food, glorious food, from clams to meat pies to fruits and veggies. I'm Bill Rudman, inviting you to join me each week right here as we celebrate Sounds of the American Musical.
Footlight Parade, Sunday evenings at 8 on Radio St. George 100.3. Radio Dixie is sporting some new custom and embroidered swag, including bowling shirts, Dickie shirts, fleece jackets, t-shirts to be given away, cell phone wallets, bags, and a whole bunch more. And this is because of the Extreme team at Extreme Graphics. Screen printing, embroidery, vinyl, graphic design, Extreme Graphics with an X, a sweet sponsor of DSU Radio.
Some of the web stuff you see on Radio Dixie 913.com is brought to you by St. George Design, specializing in web design, custom graphic design, and print media. Give your business what it deserves. A great website with a great design. A proud sponsor of Radio Dixie and Radio St. George. stgeorgedesign.com.
Dixie Sun News, your source for all of the latest news, sports, opinion, features, and more on the Dixie State University campus. Grab a paper today or visit dixiesunnews.com. Dixie Sun News, the voice of Dixie.
No batteries included. It's Toy Talk with me, Dr. Tasha Toy. I invite friends and community members in for probative interviews about relationships, self-care, and so much more. Join me for Toy Talk.
Toy Talk, Wednesdays at 3:30 on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
Listen on your mobile device with the TuneIn app. Search for Radio St. George.
You're listening to Radio St. George 100.3 FM. We now welcome you back to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole.
Hello, hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome back to the second half. We are going to do a short meditation and really bring in the consciousness. As you know, we work with the angels, or I do, and I believe April does as well, the angels, the light, and I share as I see it. So I came back with the ability to see energy even with my eyes open. So I kind of watch as the energies are coming down, and I will focus on April. And sometimes last week we had a couple people that had the disharmonies in their bodies, pains and stuff, and they could actually feel them go away. So if I share that there's something going on in the stomach, the abdomen, or something like that, and it applies to you, then that is super amazing. You know, it is for you, because energy healing has knows no time or distance. And we offer this to you so that you can have an idea of what energy is and feel the healing. So I just invite you to be open to the opportunity. And if this doesn't fit you, that's okay. You don't have to listen. We have unconditional love, and we understand you, and we are with you right where you're at. And it's all love here. But this is the way that we have learned to stay present in the moment, expand our consciousness, and really make the best attempt to be there for the highest good of all. And we love doing it. And so we're going to invite you to sit back and relax and really invite the energies around you. Being present in what is happening in your own energy is really the only control that you have. So as you're sitting there, standing there, whatever your current situation is, if you're driving, we invite you to pull over or wait and listen till later. As you are sitting in this space, really be present with your body. What are you feeling? Through every breath, pay attention to what your body is saying. And saying means speaking to you in a pressure, a heat, cold, tingles, So we invite you to sit back, allow this white light to circle around you. Move your attention into your heart. This is where your soulful self is. This is where your innate knowing to heal your body, to love yourself and share that love with others. Your own intelligence is right in this heart space. Feel that open up and expand. As your heart begins to recognize that you are bringing your awareness to this, you can feel it move. This is being present with your body. And in your body, you have chakra systems. You have this chakra, these energy wheels and centers that move up and down your body. They have certain colors and they govern certain parts of your body. Okay. You're going to imagine a white light moving down the top of your head, connecting right into that heart space. This white light has all the rainbow spectrum in it. As it flows through your body, imagine it moving in the perfect time and space for your body, for you. As it moves down the top of your head, moving into that heart, and clearing that chest. There's a lot of energy in the chest right now for many. Now guide it through intent, this beautiful white light, down the core of your body and into Mother Earth. And then imagine this light moving back up through the very earth, the crystalline caves and the dirt and the clay and the grass, and it's moving up your feet and through your body, remembering your design, this unique energy and frequency that is only yours. When you're connected to the white light, to your heart, to Mother Earth, this is your energy, uninfluenced by anyone else. And this is where healing begins. And as it moves up and down your body, bring your awareness to any heavy parts of your body. I'm feeling a lot in the chest right now. So you're going to take a deep breath through your nose and really expand that chest, expand that airway. And on the out breath, release anything that doesn't serve you. And I feel it moving up the shoulder blades. So you're going to take another breath in and you're going to really focus on that white light and expansion. And there looks like there might be some traumas that are being present in your energy. This is a female. Just breathe into that energy in that chest, that choking feeling, and breathe that trauma out, and bring that white light back into your awareness. You feel that white light. Remember, this is your energy from your heart. And you're going to feel this wave of light move up and down you to clear out the disharmonies. And bring your awareness back to your heart. There's a lot of energies. It's like that there's this energy, just a heartbeat moving, breathing in 360 degrees around you, just breathing in this harmony and breathing out disharmony. Allow yourself to clear and be in the present moment. Expand your consciousness. It's all choice. Take a deep breath in, let it out. bring up a really grounding energy from like the trees and the grass. Bring them up your legs, through your body. And really be present now in the moment. Feel your body, open your eyes, see the brightness of the sun and the things that are around you. And feel the lightness in your chest. So whoever that was, I would love for you to call in. But I can feel that the shoulder blades went back and the chest opened up, which is really interesting because a lot of people have done that lately. A lot of people have done that lately. That you're breathing in light. It's almost like it's constricting to people, and they're thinking like it's a negative energy on them, but really it's your expansion. The expansion is also kind of painful. So, but through that, I felt like there were several people, and I love that the people listen to us, and to go through this. But I would love for you to call in too, because I get the emails and there's beautiful, but people want to hear your stories, and they heal through the stories. Because right now it's just me doing the best I can, visual with all this interruption of frequency, but I'm doing the best I can to bring in what's coming to you. So we'd love to show the experiences and the stories that are working for you guys at home, and the listeners and the clients and the people that are on the Facebook pages and things like that, because it is these simple techniques, these simple energetic shares work. And we will share that tonight. We do have a gathering in Washington. We did change the address from last week. So this is a friends gathering in an energy circle that we will be having tonight. And the address is 175 East, 3930 South in Washington. And you can find information on that on the Facebook page, energyhealingbydesign.com. You also can give us a call at Energy Healing by Design, 435-319-0951. And we're still taking callers at 435-879-4100. So for me, this is very interesting today because my personal experience right now is it's very hard to be here right now. Not that I don't want to. Not that I'm not absolutely having this most amazing time learning, but it's really hard. I don't want to say hard. It feels like a challenge to get messages, to get things to work, and to focus.
You're doing really good. Really, really good.
So
I'd give you an A+.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I feel like it's totally being in the now moment of how a lot of people are feeling. Like my mind is all over the place. And I know that I felt the meditation, but I was seeing more visuals, less words were coming. I knew I had to say words or to guide it, but it's really interesting for how that's going through a lot of people's energy right now. And it's okay. And show up still. I guess that's show up, because we're all doing the best that we can in this energy. And I feel like you looked at me and just smiled, and I knew that you could see I was trailing off, but you're just like, you got this.
You're doing really good. I'm very proud of you. But the key word you said is just showing up, and that's just been my thing the last week or even few days. I don't know. It's just like, just keep showing up, keep showing up. And I just feel like if you're on the right task, it all works out. Well, for me, I just say when I'm on God's task, I'm living in purpose.
Yes, and I trust that intuition very much so too. It's like when you go against that, or when you put your ideas in it, is when you get the pushback.
You do.
And right now I wanted to stop doing that meditation. I'm like, I was going to say, I'm not getting, because I wasn't getting words. I was getting the visuals, and I was getting the people, and I was getting the energy, but the words weren't coming. So I'm like, oh, I look stupid. How many of us do that though? Like, I'm just being completely vulnerable right now. I'm like, how many people do that when they're...
But you did so good. I really think you did good.
But so I want to ask the listeners right now, when is that time that you really just quit? You do. Mm-hmm. You're like, I can't do it. I look stupid, and you'd rather just pull the plug and say, oops, technical difficulty. You really. And I was thinking about, that's why I did it, is to really call people out on that. because people do that. They give up. They say, I'm not going to do it. And they make an excuse. Mine would have been to push the button right here and say off air, oops. I didn't, and I wouldn't do that. But I feel like the message is like, be present with how you're showing up and the excuses you make not to show up. Because you make excuses not to show up so you feel good about not showing up. And then later on, when it catches up and you're like, man, I should have showed up.
Oh, I think you're just prolonging your progress when you do that.
Yep.
So when you get sick of prolonging things, you're like, here we go again. Yeah. No. Let's jump on it and do it this time, no matter how it looks.
And I feel like this, when I'm thinking everything is going wrong, right? Or not wrong, but everything's going slow and my messages aren't coming through. And I'm like, my personality is just kind of here, I'm like, what is this? What's this message?
Your expectations.
Yep.
And that's why you're being disappointed.
Right.
Yeah. You just have to ignore it.
And and the most amazing thing is that happened on purpose, because that is one of the things we've been talking about is having an expectation or an outcome. And that's why we get let down.
But there's a way to block that, because like for me, there's a camera right there, and most of the people listening on the radio, they can't see me, but I know I can see myself over here. So I know I didn't get quality time to get ready because I was so tired. I don't know. I had an overwhelming tiredness. So I won't look over there, and I'm doing great. I'm just not looking. If I was staring at myself over there, I'd probably find everything wrong with, oh my gosh. But no, I'm showing up. I'm moving forward. And for you, you're doing the same. You really are doing good. I know you're judging yourself, or you're thinking you're not doing good, but you're really doing good. So I think when we just don't internalize it, just don't allow it, because we're going to judge ourselves, and then we're going to be disappointed, and we're expecting this, and stop with the expectations and just.
Well, I love that, because in the first, that's what we're talking about. And I had like a glimpse of it, of me thinking this, that I'm doing something that or I'm not doing something I should be doing, or whatever. I'm like, you were doing what you just said, we're talking about in the beginning.
Yeah.
So how that, like, this is, again, it comes back. I love this. I love how everything comes around, but it comes to being present with it. You do it. And until you say it out loud, or you talk to your partner, your family, who have your intimate groups together, until you do that, you have no idea where the blockage, where the miscommunication is coming from in your own self, not expecting somebody else to look at their self and say, hey, I heard this on the radio and you need to do that. No, this is you. This is you. Look at you and say, because I just saw, I just went through it myself. I'm like, wow, I can see how I do that.
That's a hard truth when you have to look at you, huh?
Yeah.
Because there's no one you can blame. You're like, that's me.
Yep.
All me.
Yep. And and that is one thing that I can say that I do that. I hit things head on, and I'm like, how did I show up? Oh, that wasn't really good. And I don't beat myself up about it, because there's no reason to, because it goes back to, I think, our last week, when when you're in a bad mood and you have to give yourself, you declare that right to be in a bad mood all day long, and then you wait for a reason for somebody else to make you happy before you can release that declaration of
entitlement of being mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like kind of the same thing. It's as I'm looking at it. So I'm trying my hardest to think of, not really my hardest, but I'm trying to think of steps to keep people in the present moment and for it to be important to them. Because sometimes, until you look at your own stuff, well, always.
Every time.
Yeah. There we go. Every time. Until you look at your own stuff, you're really judging other people's actions on your stuff.
Yep.
And so what does that look like, and what can you do to declutter your own internal
mess?
Yeah.
Don't blame others. Look inward instead of outward. And then, like, what I see in you, I'm seeing in myself. So just start really internalizing. If you're thinking that person's a this, that, and the other, then you look right inside yourself and be like, why do I think that? Because there's truth within yourself of what you're seeing in them. And I love the days when I'm like, oh, she's so cute, or oh, she's so happy, or look at him, or look at them. Like when you see their true soul, I love living in that kind of space. And that's like being present in the moment. And I'm not looking at them like, oh, I wish I had that, or oh, poor me, or oh, I this, or, when you're in that other space. So you have to start with yourself.
And I've learned lately. Sorry, my earphones are going crazy. I've learned lately that projection also, like if you are a very sensitive person, projection can go both ways, but to be present with it is very important too, because especially if you're marrying somebody, or like you just said, that when you're having something come up for you on the other person, about the other person, oh, you're beautiful, oh, I feel beautiful inside, and then something of the opposite comes. It's a projection that recycles, and it's like, so be aware of when to say that it's now a story. Like it's now a story of projection, and again, taking that time to be present and not allowing that to happen. So there's a lot of with these, that being why that's coming in, I'm not sure, but with these waves of, I think it's couples. I've had a lot of couples with this disagreements because they're seeing things two different ways. So by realizing that when you get frustrated and you're that close, you project. And then when you're projecting on somebody else, they may or may not have that feeling, but it starts to do a cycle. And then to come out of it, one of you have to be present, or you both have to be present. But right now, it's the energies of chaotic, the chaotic energy going through the earth. I'm just inviting you to really go inside and see if you're projecting, and if a mood, an energy, or if you're mirroring, and if it's real. Ask if these emotions, these things that are going through your system are real. Is that really how you feel? You know, especially if you're having like this amazing day, and then you talk to somebody and it's really goes south really quick, and then you have this amazing day. There's an energy around that situation. So I invite you to just really observe and be present, and ask yourself if it's real.
And step outside when things get too much for you to handle, and just look up at the sky, whether it's night or day, or look out, whatever your scenery is, just step outside, take a few breaths, stand in the grass or the rocks or wherever you are, and then just take breaks so you could allow yourself a little bit of time instead of staying in that moment that maybe you should just step away from for a minute instead of barfing all over each other.
I know. That is just not fun.
Just step outside. Even I was telling a friend, I was like, I'm really tired. And they told me something silly, but they're like, well, get some of that, what did they say? Cosmic energy that you could suck up.
And it's this life force energy that's available to us, and we choose not to sometimes not to take that direct access and ask for it, because going back to that learned beliefs, we actually feel like that we need to be in that suffering to either prove a point or to get over it.
Right.
And then that's really,
you don't get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, let's take the higher road, or the light road, or whatever, and focus on that truth of, because outside of this realm, everything is harmonious in love and in cooperation.
I can't imagine if I had learned some of the things I know now when I was little, how much better I would just be within my own skin. Just the simple things like hugging the trees and all those silly things that I love doing, and a lot of people love doing. So I think it's important that kids know these things, and my grandchildren, when I teach them little things like that, they just love it. You know, it becomes natural.
And those kids, so many kids are so awake. We can so learn from them. They're just
True.
They have a frequency and energy that is just amazing. And really, if you watch them, you can learn amazing things from them. And so we're almost out of time, but we're going to remind you that you can reach me, Nicole Ashton, at energyhealingbydesign.com. April Betty at handshealinghearts.com. You can follow us on Facebook on Radio St. George Live, or the radio station, Radio St. George 100.3. April Betty has her own Facebook. I have mine, and we are on Live with Nicole and Betty. It is Live with Nicole right now, but it will be changing. And we are just in gratitude. I feel like we're going to talk about the children next week. We're going to have, there's so much that we get to do with them. We get to explore with them. We're also going to put a youth event or a monthly gathering for the children themselves, because we have so many kids coming to us with these gifts, and they need direction. Their parents need direction. So we're going to open up a day, probably a Saturday once a month, that you'll be able to bring your kids and explore on the energies and the gifts and they're just born awake. Some of them are coloring outside the lines. They're having the visions. They're having some of them are wetting their pants, actually, because they're not fully engaged in their body. There's just so much going on right here in St. George that I see these kids every day, and I feel like that by us opening up a Saturday just to have those kids interact, that will be amazing. So you can reach us at Energy Healing by Design at Hands Healing Hearts on Facebook, and we will see you next week at 4 o'clock. Have the most amazing week.
You've been listening to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole Ashton, creator of Energy Healing by Design, a world-renowned healer and luminary whose life after death experience has allowed her the gift of empowering people around the globe to heal and grow in their true authentic space. For audio and or video of this, go to Facebook or YouTube, Podbean or Spotify, and search Radio St. George or radiostgeorge.com. We invite you back next Wednesday at 4 o'clock for Return to Consciousness with Nicole Ashton on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.